Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. We are today Friday, June 11th, 2021. And for today, we have a very particular topic discussion. I wanted to come in today and I really wanted to come and speak about relationship, mother's relationship, estranged relationship. But I want to do it in a very different way. The reasons that I want to come and do it in a very different way is because, I have realized that sometimes, first and foremost, there are those of us who do not have that tightness, that loving, motherly, like sisterhood relationship with our moms, right? And a lot of time we can be very, very harsh, we can be very negative, or we can always look at what our mothers did not give to us. And oftentimes we're not seeing what they have given to us. So I wanted to honor that. I wanted to honor what my mother has given to me and what my mother has not given to me. It's a way for me to, just to be not okay, but to recognize that, okay, mom did not give this to me. Maybe because she didn't have that, or mom gave this to me in return. I had, sometimes we don't know our parents. Going back to visiting my grandparents was very therapeutic for me. It was very soothing for me because I have a loving relationship with my grandparents, with my relatives. I love them so much and I connect with them, although, I really did not grow up with them. I've never visited the place where my mother was born until I was way in my 30s. And my mother did not even want me to visit the place where she was born. But I fell in love with it. I fell in love with my relatives. They really love me. They love to have me around. And it's just like, it's that sense of belonging. So I can really relate to someone who was adopted or someone who was raised outside of their biological parents. For those of us who want to adopt, or for someone who is an adoptive parent, I feel like you should never feel offended if you have a child that you have taken under your wings, and you definitely have given that child everything, but that child still missed that longing. Because look at myself, I was raised with both my biological parents, although at times I love to say that they are my adoptive parents, but I still went and I still wanted to visit the place where my mother was born, wanted to have a connection with that side of the family, wanted to learn about her upbringing. And going back and seeing her upbringing, it was just very different. It made me look at my mother in a different light. It made me really respect my so very sorry about this interruption. So as I was mentioning to you, going back to where my mother lived really made me look at her in a different light. It made me understand the progress that she's made with her life, where she comes from. It is the truth that, my mother comes from a beautiful place. Hopefully, I'll put a few clips for you guys. But, she had to work to actually come here, have her children in the United States, give us the ultimate best when it comes to education. And she focused a lot on that, on making sure that we would be okay in this life, making sure that we will have a head start. You guys know that I love to be in Haiti and I want to be in Haiti, and there's so much that I want to do in Haiti. But I have to say, and I have to be very honest with myself and say that I can do these things because at the end of the day, I have options. At the end of the day, I have opportunities. At the end of the day, I can create different lane for myself, right? So I really wanted to, because I don't always want to come here, or though I've never done that, but a lot of times for those of us who have those very, I don't want to say estranged, but very kind of like you are born from someone, but you guys are looking at life from totally different perspective. And I'm understanding a lot more where my mother and I were looking at life from just totally different perspective. The very first thing is that, my mother gave me what she didn't have. So my upbringing and my mother's upbringing is very different because my mother grew up without her parents. Her parents were dead by the time that she was a young child, right? So my mother was raised with her sister, her older sister, and though her older sister worked, probably I'm going to guess, because in my family they very shy away, especially my mom. My father is more open to talk about his upbringing. Like, we grew up, knowing a lot about, the way my father grew up. Mom never talked about anything about her childhood. So sometimes that make me question, well, was she not proud of where she comes from, or was she hurt because she didn't have her mom, and because a lot of things happen. A lot of time we don't know our mother's stories. We don't know what our mothers went through, because they don't sit down and they don't share with us what they've gone through, right? So because of that, it's a blockage, because I can sense how she just was not understanding my connection with the land, my connection with wanting to go back and wanted to sojourn with the family, where she feels like, I've given you so much to take off and to have the best of life, and here you are wanting to go back to a place that I've left, a place that there's nothing going on there, but you have this passion of wanting to go there. And it is because of what she's given me. My mother has given me foundation to start my work, foundation to see better things, foundation to create, because my mother gave me that stability and that foundation. I have always been able to dream. I'm a dreamer, I'm a creator. So in order for you to do that, you need that stability. There are many people that are creators, there are many people that are dreamers, but unfortunately they can't really dream, because they have to go outside, they have to seek, they have to work, they have to do everything. Look at this, look at the blessings that I've had in my entire life. It hasn't been easy, but I've always continuously wanted to take that creative self-starter route. But it's because at the end of the day, I know that, okay, if I fall, at least I know that I have a little place. So mom gave me definitely foundation. My mother gave me quiet love, strength. Mom is not an affectionate person. Now, I believe that I'm very affectionate. I'm not going to say that I suffer. And I also grew up with my aunt, so it wasn't always my parents. I grew up with cousins. I grew up with my brothers and sisters. I grew up with my godmother. I grew up with, so I had plenty of love, but mom was not an affectionate mom. Mom recently started to say, I love you, and it takes a lot for her to say it. But my mother gave me quiet strength love, because definitely I can go into my memory lane and remember the many times I got in trouble, whether it was in school, whether it was in dance school, at the street, and my mother came out. It was that mother, like, what did you say, my child? Oh, really? My child? Like, that's mom right there. Like, that's that strength of character that once one of us is in trouble, listen, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it. And that's even for relative. This is one of the reasons when we vacation outside of the family, my relatives were super cautious with us, because they knew that one thing went wrong, my mother would be on it. So there's that quiet strength. There's that, knowing that you are protected. I definitely, even when I'm on the streets, people always say, how do you do it in Haiti? But people can sense when you have a family background. People can sense when, if they do something to you, they will have someone to, respond to. Someone will definitely, like, you can't walk up to me and say that you're going to do something to me and not look back and say, okay, what's going to come next? So that sense of protection that I've got from my mother. My mother gave me discipline. Believe it or not, she may think, because I work in a very creative, free spirit manner, that I'm not disciplined, but anyone who has ever done like entrepreneurship route, that in order to be very successful in that route, you need consistency, you need discipline, you need passion, and you need, to continue to pursue. So I definitely am very, very disciplined with my work, and it's because my parents have definitely instilled that in me. My mother has always been a disciplinarian in her life. My mother, everything was very strict. It was never, she always felt like, raising children is not about playing games. You have to instill so much in your children. So I definitely grew up with a very tight, very disciplinarian, and it paid off, because even when I was in the United States, and I shared this with you in my journey, like, my aunts were very lenient, my godmother, but that principle that I had, that background of disciplinarian, helped me to continue to live a pretty much of a free life, but not really sink deep into kind of like a different route, if you want me to say it like that, in the United States. So mom definitely gave me discipline. What else I can say that my mother gave me? My mother smuggled me with I don't want to say love. Like, my mother is a doer, so she would do for you until she can't, and that comes from her way of being controlling. Let's be very honest, mom is super controlling. That comes from her way of always wanting to control, but it also comes from I'm realizing that it comes from love, because she just wants to do things for you. Mom loves that. She just wants to be a part of everything that we're doing and everyone that she's helping. She wants for you to validate her opinion, validate what she has to say. And I'm realizing that the many obstacles that we have is because I've been always wanting to leave me alone, like, just very rebellious, and not wanting her to be a part of my life, not wanting her to know things about me, because I'm always thinking that she's going to be against it. So mom definitely gave me that, where it's kind of like, if I really let it be, I would be 50 living with my parents, and my mother would just take care of everyone. Like, she's that woman, which is not positive, because in another way, that also opens up the door to codependency that I've realized that I struggle with. I'll be very honest with you, because it's kind of like when you always, even when my mother is not either here in Haiti or we are in the States, mom has that capacity to always be on it. So if you're not an independent person, you're just going to rely on her, and she's just going to sit there and do everything for you. And when she's no longer present, you're going to have a hard time. And I'm seeing this not only with us, with her children, but I'm seeing this with even her sisters, with anyone. Mom has this sense of control that is just unbearable. So what else can I say about what my mother gave me? My mother gave me class. My mother is a very classy woman. She is not like me, who is bougie and love all these things. If I listen to myself, I would have piercing all over my face. Mom is a very classic woman. My mother doesn't really wear makeup or all these things, but once she steps out, you're going to see, okay, that's the boss. Once you see mom, you're gonna be like, yeah, mom is very classic. So my mother raised us with having this 3-course meal dinner. She opened up, like, all the gifts that my mother has ever given to any one of us has always been staple gift. Like, my mother, I have a Givenchy towel. This is all gifts from my mother. My mother likes the classic things in life. She loves that, whereas, I'm okay with trinkets. I'm okay with, I swear, I'm okay with you going to some store, picking this up, putting it in a very beautiful thing and gifting it to me. For me, it's always the idea with the thoughts. Like, I might just be offended if you're not writing a card to me, but mom loves the grand things in life. And in the past, I think that some of us in this family struggle with that. Like, I'm gonna say that I struggle with it a little bit. My younger sister did as well, because we're more thoughtful people. Like, I love the fact that my youngest sister, she would always give me things and be like, oh, I went there and then I saw this and this was written and it reminded me of you, it reminded me of your personality, and I just wanted to give it to you. Mom is not like that. Mom is going to give us that $500 bag that we wanted. That's mom. So I'm learning that that's her love language. So I'm learning now to save up, instead of giving her things like, okay, let me just go down the street and give her something and write a letter to her. I'm learning to save up and say, okay, you know what, let me save up and give mom a $200 gift, a $250 gift. She's going to love that. That's her style. So mom definitely gave me class, My mother also gave me, education. I would say that my love for the language of arts and everything does came from her. Now granted, sometimes you gravitate toward things, but I could always recall summer times where it was just never boring at home. My mother always made sure that we had activities, like we did everything. Like I really grew up well. I'm going to give this to my mother because she put a lot. My father did as well, but this is a video dedicated to mom. So my mother definitely did that. She invested herself in her children. Now that I'm older and I really want to start planning my own family, the mentality is so very different because you already automatically, now I'm understanding her much better. I'm understanding why she was strict. I'm understanding why she did not allow certain things. I'm understanding why she took certain route, right? So like I was saying, now that I'm older, I'm relating to her much more. I'm understanding the work that comes with bringing children in this world, with caring for children, but not over loving or overdoing this love thing, but being a disciplinarian when you have kids. I always said to people that my mother always knew that I was a little bit vain. Like I always looked at myself. When I was a kid, I was always in front of the mirror dancing. Now she definitely catered to that side of me because I went to dance school, I went to theater school, and she allowed me to dive into that creative, but she was also very strict with me when it came to my academic. She didn't play games, and also she realized that I was always about the beauty, but she didn't really go down that route because I feel like she didn't really want me to be all about being vain, being beautiful, because at the end of the day, though she did not nourish that, it came naturally out of me, right? But mom did not really focus on that because she always said that a beautiful girl is not going to get you anything in this life. Your brain is going to get you anything in this life. This is why I'm able to balance both things right now in my life. So what is it that I feel like my mother did not give me? My mother, to me, I don't have that friendship relationship vibe with her. I don't believe that I will ever have that. If you've ever met my mother, once you see my mother, you would be so kind of like taken with her strength of character. I'm not gonna say that I'm afraid of her, but I'm not gonna be sitting there and telling my mother my life, because my mother, at the end of the day, she is my mom, okay? And she wants what's best for me. If my mother knew the men who were talking to me, she'd be like, hey, Kisa, no. So no, mom did not, like, I don't ever see myself being her friend, like sharing my life with her, my truest life with her. I hope that in the future we could cross, maybe when I'm no longer living with them, we'll be able to like sit down, have a glass of wine and talk. But I live such a different life than my mom, because my mom is very practical, and she always say, Rebecca, I really feel like she thinks I live in a different I really feel like she thinks I live in a different world because I'm always drinking wine and living life, and she doesn't know what I do for a living. She always looks at me and be like, So, yeah, so mom did not give me that. What else can I say that my mother did not give me? Well, the love for the land. Like I said, mom is very like I'm very different. For example, there are a few people that I go to their house, I want to sleep in their house and just hang out with them, that I don't think she would approve. I think that she would not approve because she would always feel like I'm above them, or maybe just, I understand what she means, because it's kind of like when you look at it, you always want to look towards someone that has a lot more to offer. But I always feel also that you don't always want to put yourself on that pedestal. You want to be relatable to people, and at the end of the day, we're family, or we can relate, we could sit and talk. So mom doesn't have that approach, let's just say that. What else can I say that I feel like mom did not give me? Mom did not give me that breeze, that easiness of life. I seek beautiful things. I seek ease. I seek just a peaceful, loving. Guys, I do not like to stress myself out. I do not like to have to do 500 things during the day. I like the easy way in life, and mom is not like that. Mom believes in working hard. She believes in getting up, working hard. For her, that's life. For her, that's the way to go about life. This is why, even here with the dynamic that I have, she doesn't understand that lifestyle, the way that I work, where do I get my money. So she's a little bit off with that, whereas she would support a lot more someone that she sees wakes up every day, goes out, is on the street, is doing that. She would perceive that to be, that person is about their business, they're about their life. But meanwhile, I'm sitting at home and everything is working out for me. So the easiness that I have learned to develop, the easy way of life, I've learned it on my own. It did not come from mom. The loving ways. There is a great book that I own. It's not here. It's a perfect book. It's called Things That My Daughter Gave, That My Mother Didn't Give Me. The name of the author is Barbara. I'm going to write it. This is a perfect book. The author talks about what she is giving her daughter, but these are the things that her mother did not give her. And I think it says that my mother gave me milk, and I'm giving milk and honey to my daughter. So it's a beautiful book. It's it was these books that helped me nourish the things that I felt like my mother did not give me, especially when you become a parent. You have a different way to relate to your children. So every child is very different. Whereas my mother focused so much on academy, discipline, and in finance and stability, which is good. I feel like with me, or with all of us, she forgot the loving, she forgot the hugs, she forgot the kisses, she forgot the I love yous, she forgot the I'm here for you. But older now, I'm realizing that she didn't forget them. She just has done it in a different way. She's just is doing it differently, because it takes a lot to have your overgrown daughter living with you who feels like she wants to run the world and she does not want your opinion, but to tolerate her, to let her be in your own home. So this is what I have to say with this video. I did not write anything because it was on the top of my head. I really wanted to talk about that. I feel like coming back from the South and spending time with my deceased helped me understand my mom a lot better, and see that, understand that, yeah, we are different, but I'm still her mom. I'm still her baby girl, and we're just looking at life in different ways because we have different stories to tell. I have a different story to tell. Some people that I speak to have harmed my mother, or not talking to my mother, but I've opened up my heart to them because I can see where the envy or the difference between them and my mom is coming from. And at times, guys, at times there are those of us who are here for that, to mend bridges between families, to just mend bridges. It's very important to cultivate relationship with parents, because even when you feel like the relationship is doomed and you feel like you have to cut off the relationship, but just to go down that route, even when you want to do that, like you want to cut off the relationship, but to allow your parents to also have their narrative, and to allow yourself to look at what they have given to you, even when you feel like they have not given positive things to you. It's just difference of perspective at times. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I'm so happy to be back, and we are going to be touching on this touchy subject because I have so much to share. I will see you in the next. It's getting ready to rain and have so much to do. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next. Bye, guys.